The phone rang at 3 a.m. in the night. It was not a mistake, not a prank. Her voice was trembling, raw, cracking under a fear too heavy for a child to bear. "My stomach hurts so bad," she whispered. "John did something terrible. There's blood everywhere. Please hurry." Then a sudden silence. My hands froze around the receiver. The sound of her breathing had vanished, and what remained was a terrible emptiness. I dialed 911 with robotic precision. My voice detached, calm, almost inhuman as I gave them the address. My mind, however, was in a storm. When I arrived at their residence, the front door was locked. I did not wait for keys, explanations, or mercy. My shoulder hit the wood and it splintered. The first thing that struck me was the smell, metallic, heavy with blood. And what I saw in that living room would forever change my perception of my neighbors. They had seemed like the perfect family, or so I believed. They had cookouts, holiday parties, a man who laughed a bit too loudly, a woman who smiled a bit too brightly, and a little girl who clung to her father's hand with the complete trust of the innocent. But innocence lies, or rather it conceals. That night I found the girl huddled on the kitchen floor, pale and shaking, her clothes stained crimson, her eyes locked onto mine, pleading and hollow. "Don't let him near me," she whispered. Her words were a dagger to my heart. In the next room, he sat slumped in a chair. Her father, John, his hands streaked with blood. He wasn't frantic or apologetic, just waiting. His eyes lifted to mine, empty and cold, as if daring me to move closer. My heart pounded fiercely. My immediate instinct screamed for violence. But my training, my discipline, whispered something else. Observe, remember, survive. This was not chaos. It was deliberately orchestrated. In that moment, a new truth dawned on me. This had been happening long before her desperate call. The police arrived minutes later. They took him away, silent, handcuffed, and unresisting. But silence, I knew, hides a deep rot. I started my own investigation. I looked at hospital records. She had suffered accidents every few months. A broken wrist, various bruises and stomach issues that were dismissed as a delicate constitution. No one had ever asked for more details. No one wanted to. John's job gave him a kind of power and influence that could bend questions into silence. Her mother, Lisa, was absent. With a vacant smile and rows of medication bottles on her shelves, she moved through life like a ghost, too numb to protect anyone. I watched the security camera footage from my own house. That night before the call, he had stepped outside, pacing and talking on his phone. The words were carried by the wind, faint but chillingly clear. "No one will believe her. She's just a kid." My stomach turned cold. I realized then that I wasn't dealing with a loss of control or a fit of rage. I was staring into a calculated abyss. When the investigation report was released, it confirmed what my instincts had already told me. It had been going on for years. Not a single outburst, but a carefully woven pattern. A cycle of manipulation, cruelty, and control, concealed behind perfect lawns and weekend barbecues. And he had kept records of his own sins, receipts, photos, and messages, as if documenting his actions gave him a twisted sense of power. I sat in the courthouse when they laid it all bare. His perfect facade cracked for the first time, not in shame, but in pure fury that his walls had been breached. He scanned the room for me, and our eyes locked. I didn't blink or flinch. I just let the weight of my silent gaze crush him, because in that silence he saw it. He knew that I knew, and I would never let him bury the truth again. On sentencing day, the courtroom was packed. He still carried that faint arrogance, the belief that money or power could bend reality in his favor. Then the judge read the sentence. Decades in prison, with no chance of parole. His face went pale. I leaned forward just enough for him to see me, calm and detached. There was no rage or triumph in my expression, just a steady reminder. He was finished. As they led him away, his eyes burned with hatred. But I know that hatred is powerless when you have lost everything. The girl, Anna, was sitting 2 rows behind me, small and fragile. She clutched a stuffed toy as if it were life itself. I turned once, just enough for her to see me. I didn't smile. I only gave a slow nod, a silent promise that he would never be able to touch her again. Now when I look across the street, the house sits dark, its windows shuttered, the silence heavier than before. I don't wave at neighbors anymore. I don't exchange pleasantries because I know just how much can be hidden behind laughter and manicured lawns. The girl is safe, placed far from here. I hope she will grow up free of the shadows, but I know that shadows always leave scars. As for him, he is rotting in a cage of his own making. And me? I will always carry that call. The voice of a small child at 2 a.m. That sound never truly leaves you. It sharpens you, hardens you. Because evil doesn't shout, it whispers. And when it whispers again, I will be listening.